Greetings again, adventurers, and welcome back to Let's Play ChäoS. In the last episode, Takumi and Nanami walked together from the Kurenai building to Suume Academy, probably one of the rare instances in which that actually happens, when Nanami seemed a bit dazed at the pedestrian crossing, which was kind of curious, but Takumi wrote it off as her being completely oblivious to her surroundings, albeit momentarily. But another revelation came from none other than Daisuke Mizumi, who actually explained to Takumi that one of the students at Suume Academy, a girl by the name of Ayase Kishimoto, is actually the lead singer Fez, the front woman of the gothic band Phantasm. And in typical Daisuke Mizumi fashion, he attempted to hit on Ayase over this, to which she completely and absolutely ignored him. Of course, once again, the green and red indicators indicate that Takumi is about to have his fair share of delusions in this instance, as a result of his heart rate and imagination going rampant. So, in usual fashion, we'll start things off with the positive delusions, just to, well, I say calm his nerves, but as we all know, Takumi's delusions definitely tend to get the better of him in every instance. And Daisuke has just noticed that Ayase, aka Fez, has completely walked by him, as we thought. Fez came to a halt. Her faintly lowered gaze slowly rose. She looked at me. Huh? Me? Come to think of it, I thought she was staring at me during the concert, too. I do have a vague recollection of that, way back when. To begin with, 3D girls have been staring at me pretty damn often over these past 2 weeks. What was going on? Had I blossomed into popularity? Only one way to find out.
私、好きな人がいるのよ。
えマジ何それって俺のこと
そこの人。
そこ
Over there? Over where? Fez wasn't pointing anywhere. She simply looked at me. She was looking only at me. Maybe I was the guy she liked?
この前、ライブに来てたわね。
Fez began walking towards me, still not averting her gaze. The people around us started making a stir. Apparently everyone had their ears pricked to hear this utterly unthinkable confession from Shibuya's charismatic diva Fez.
いや、俺もライブに行って。
And Daisuke once again trying to salvage what is left of his pride and dignity.
一目で悟ったわ。
Fez wasn't listening to Mizumi-kun. She seized my tie in one hand and pulled me towards her, close enough for me to have an acute sense of how she was breathing. Looks like Daisuke has definitely gone down in flames. This wasn't the kind of distance you'd find between new friends, nor would it work too well for family. Yes, this was the kind of distance that belonged between lovers.
君が私の運命の人だって。
Fez stroked my cheek with the tip of her fingers. She didn't show a hint of a smile. The seductiveness of that gesture made me shudder. I was becoming enchanted by her. I couldn't look away.
決めたわ。私、君のお嫁さんになる。
Although her declaration was something quite remote from the world weariness that Fez bore about her, the gap between the two was, to the contrary, unbelievably cute. As our surroundings burst with excitement over how Fez had literally just proposed to me, Mizumi-kun was so crestfallen at having lost to me that he fell to his knees on the spot. Alas.
僕の意見は無視ですか?
That, Takumi Nishijo, is probably a very important question.
嫌じゃないです。
That is probably a very important answer. I was getting swept along by the flow of things. I'd ended up as one of life's winners simply by becoming engaged to such a lovely girl. And thus began our heart-pounding love story. Of course, that was only an illusion. Yeah, as if. However, as far as delusions go, that one was actually, I actually have to say that one actually unfolded pretty well for one of Takumi's many delusions. It didn't go too overboard that time, which is probably going to be a rarity. But of course, as always, with the good must come the bad. So it's time to delve into the inverse of the positive delusion with one of Takumi's negative delusions concerning Miss Ayase Kishimoto.
So この君。
はい。
When she called me, I inadvertently snapped to attention and answered. The ephemeral aura surrounding her entire body made it so I had to view her as being someone older. But when I thought about it a little harder, we were in the same year, weren't we? Indeed, that was what Daisuke found out about. Fez signified Mizumi-kun, who was hanging around her, with a jerk of her chin.
付き合わない方がいいわよ。こんな人とは。
おいおい、こんな人呼ばわりはひどくね？っていうか、こんな人ってどんな人だよ。
On the one hand, that perspective isn't exactly wrong, but on the other hand, it's probably a bit harsh to antagonize Daisuke that much.
鬱陶しい人。
はあ?
I think the word sick burn come into mind there. Mizumi-kun was clearly becoming disgruntled, but Fez let his sharp gaze slide past without evincing much interest. What a sour atmosphere. I didn't want to get involved in this. I had a hard time with both verbal and physical quarrels, and if I caused any problems at school, let it have an impact on my evaluations. I think this particular quarrel could have an impact of a very different kind there, Takumi. So as not to get caught up in it, maybe I had better beat a quick retreat.
何？もしかして岸本さんさ、俺のことバカにしてる？
別に。でも迷惑よ。
あ、そうなんだ。
Yeah, you could definitely cut the palpable tension with a knife.
そういうこと言うんだ、岸本さんって。ちょっとさ、人のいないところで二人でゆっくり話そうぜ。
His smile tense with anger, Mizumi-kun put his hand on Fez's shoulder. Her eyebrows twitched.
触らないで。
そう言うなって。いいからちょっと付き合ってよ。
Yeah, Mizumi is being rather insistent
触らないでって言ってるの。
in this instance.
うっせえな。ついてこいって言ってんだよ。
バカな人。
It happened in an instant. Though I witnessed it from start to finish, I didn't understand what had happened. At some point, that cool-looking mic stand, or perhaps a sword, had ended up in Fez's hand. I didn't know where she pulled it out from, but she made it flash in the air with ease. And Izumi-kun's left hand got sliced clean right through below the elbow. Vast amounts of blood gouted forth, and a severed hand toppled to the floor. The hallway was turning red. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen anything. Neither Fez drawing out her sword, nor the line it had traced when she slashed it, nor the moment when she cut off Mizumi-kun's arm. In other words, it all happened in an instant. All of it occurred in the blink of an eye. By the time I noticed, everything was over.
手が、俺の腕が。
Mizumi-kun collapsed in place, picking up his fallen arm off the floor and desperately trying to reattach it. His screams resounded down the corridor. The students nearby shrieked and fled confusedly. As for Fez, still holding her sword, she serenely watched our surroundings fall into panic. Then once again she looked at me. Deliberately licking her own lips with a red tongue, she flushed a delicate pink and smiled. It was a very disturbing expression.
気持ちいい。
No such carnage unfolded. Yeah. In reality, as we've witnessed, Ayase is definitely not one to be a sadist, and as determined as Mizumi is in his attempt to sort of do his own thing, he is a bit of a pushover when it actually comes to being rejected. But in all fairness, despite his social tendencies, Daisuke is actually, he actually in reality does have a modicum of vulnerability to him, and we'll leave it at that for the moment. But of course, in the world of reality, naturally I averted my eyes. As a result, I only met Fez's glance for a second as she strolls past.
見つけて。早く。剣を。
Fez suddenly spoke. I couldn't sense much spirit in her flat tone. I wasn't sure whether her words had been aimed at me or Mizumi-kun.
Kun. De?
It seems that despite Ayase's low tone, Mizumi was able to hear that.
そうすれば君は救われるわ。
Fez said one-sidedly, and lowered her eyes the same way she had before, and walked away. And she slipped past my side and entered Class D. Both Mizumi-kun and I watched her go in consternation. On two entirely different levels, I might add.
なあ、タグ。
Mizumi was clearly sulking. Alas. Despite his greatest efforts, Fez wouldn't give him the time of day. This had been pretty tough for him to see her ignore his existence itself. Although I was used to that sort of treatment.
俺はここまでプライドをズタズタにされたのは初めてだ。自信なくすぜ。くそ。
Maybe my hunch that Daisuke was a bit of a pushover was more accurate than I give myself credit for.
ちょっと有名人だからって調子乗りやがって。
No. Daisuke, I think you're a bit off the beaten track there. She doesn't really care about her fame, well, she's not really conceited
あんな
in
不
that
愛想な
way.
女、もう二度と相手にしてやるもんかよ。あー、うぜえ。だいたい何が剣を見つけろだ。わけわかんねえ。
Well, you win some, you lose some. In most cases, you'll probably lose every single time. She did mention something interesting there. A sword. Had she been referring to something like the mic stand-esque thing she'd used during her show? After she mentioned it, 2 days ago, a completely different person had interrogated me about a sword. The girl called Senna had been amazingly scary. I thought she cut me down for real. I certainly thought that as well. The sword she held had differed in shape from the one Fez had brought to her show, but they possessed similar atmospheres. I wondered if they were connected in some way. I don't know. I don't know a thing. Shogun, the demon girl, Yua, Fez, Senna, a sword. More specifically a D-sword, if memory serves. As was my habit, I organized the things I didn't know by making a bullet point list of them in my head. I considered tacking on I myself as the last item, but I stopped. I was perfectly normal. My surroundings were aberrant. Let it be obvious to anyone. If only. Was Fez my ally or my enemy? That was all I really needed to find out. I wasn't brave enough to talk to her. Well, in any event, that was our encounter with Ayase Kishimoto, also known as Fez. Today I went to animate without stopping by at Cafe, and I would love to hear all about that, Takumi, but I'm afraid that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play ChäoS Head, and when we return, shall actually venture inside this wonderful anime establishment. As always, dear adventurers, until next we meet.